Shalom, brother Naquam, watchman for Israel, coming back at you with these precepts and another cold cut, giving, of course, our honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahashima Mashiach Bashai, double honors to the elect elders of the house of David that's been in this truth, decades and decades, patiently waiting and laboring for the second coming of our Lord Yahweh Shai. A hearty and mighty shalom to all of the mighty men of the Most High God who are always and byways, pushing this truth, magnifying the ministry, presenting their bodies as a sacrifice and enduring all things for the elect's sake. Shalom, shalom. Shalom to all of the men that may not be out there in the highways and byways as of yet, but they're working on it. They're getting built up in the spirit of prayer. They're fasting, they're studying, they're being diligent, and they're abounding in the work of the Lord. Shalom, shalom. Shalom to all of the aquath out there, the sincere sisters that are out there zealous, diligent, and on fire, and moving in the spirit of our righteous foremothers. Shalom to the ancient men. Shalom to the children. Shalom to the elect of Israel scattered abroad throughout the four corners of the earth. And shalom to everybody tuning in live through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashima Mashiach Kwamalaki Bashai, Nigel Blends, Don Israel Tamid, the very unpopular truth, Ak Aman Bani Asha'Allah, Shalom, Benjamin Youngwolf, Shalom King, Anthony Knox, Issachar 79, Antonio Brayboy, Benjamin Youngwolf, HBK Int, Vernon Brody, Shalom, and everybody else in that will tune in, Lord willing. This will be a quick cold cut through the spirit and power of Yahweh. I was meditating on this topic early this morning through the spirit. So I just want to go into it. This topic, the name of this lesson is get thyself the love of the congregation. Right? That's found in Ecclesiastes, the chapter. Like I said, this won't be too long. It was on my spirit to kind of touch on this topic. You know, I don't know who may need to hear it, right? But we're not going to resist the spirit and the will of the Most. So getting yourself the love of the congregation, that goes back to Ecclesiastes, the 4th chapter, right? So I'm going to read Ecclesiastes chapter 4 and verse number 7. It reads, get thyself the love of the congregation and bow thy head a great man, right? So Yahweh Ba'ashmi Abashai, he has deemed having a name important, right? Having a great name, having a great character, having a great understanding on relationships, having a great building bonds with individuals, having a good rapport with particular individuals, obtaining a great reputation. All these things are very important in the eyes of Yahweh Ba'ashmi Abashai. The Most High speaks often about having a great name, right? The most often about men of renown or famous men of Israel, man. So the Lord commanded the men of Yahweh Ba'ashmi Abashai to get yourself the love of the congregation. This isn't, in a world where you could be isolated. In order for you to keep this commandment, you will have to gather together, right? So all you Israelites don't want to gather together, who want to be individualites, who feel as though you can do a self-willed move and you hate camps, and how are you going to congregation? You'll never be able to fulfill that commandment, man. That's not optional. The Lord didn't, none of these things that are written of old are optional. Right? These are law, statutes, and commandments, instruction, and counsel given to the sons of Israel in the last days, man. Right? And the daughters of Israel in these last days. So getting yourself the love of the congregation requires you gathering together first and foremost. You have to find it within yourself. And some brothers, you may not have the ability to. You may not have transportation, right? You may live somewhere isolated, right? But you brothers and sisters who can travel, chiefly you brothers that can travel, the Most High commanded you to travel and to gather yourself together, right? So in order to get yourself the love of the congregation, first you have to step out your comfort zone. You have to learn how to be friendly. You have to learn how to talk to brothers, man, right? You have to learn how to communicate. All these are the things that brothers have to do in these last days to get yourself the love of the congregation. You can't be an asshole, man. Slack you for the language, but you can't be a standoffish, brutish, churlish. Can't nobody talk to you. You can't reason with nobody. You're proud. You're always drunk. You're always late. You always offend the brother. You're always in the council, right? You don't want to have that spirit, right? You don't want to have that spirit. So, and you brothers that are in camps, man, you want to have a good name, right? You want to have a good name. You don't want to be known in the congregation as the congregation's drunkard, man, or the clown, or you're the brother that nobody takes serious, or you're the brother comes in the room and everybody leaves and they stop having that conversation, man, or you're the brother that shows up with the bottles, or you're the brother that's always in the council of federal. You can't have that spirit. You want to have great behavior, man. You want to look at yourself, man. It's important how people perceive you and how they, what they think about you. See, in a world, you can always have this attitude. I don't care what nobody think about me. I'm going to do me. That's just who I am. Right? That's just how I raised. My daddy raised me like that. My mama raised me like that. And my auntie raised me. That's just who I am. You can't have that spirit anymore. That's the old man. Right? That's the old man. All that, man, that's who I am. And I'm going to just do me. And if you don't like who I am, then move out the way. No, brother. Now, everybody's not going to like you. The Lord said in Sirach 6:1, instead of an enemy, it's like you, let me just read it. Instead of paraphrasing. Instead of a friend, become not an enemy, for thereby thou shalt inherit an ill name. Shame and reproach, even so, shall a sinner that hath a double tongue. Let's read it again. Instead of a friend, become not an enemy. You may not be buddy with everybody, man. And that's fine, right? That's fine. You may not be in every group chat. That's fine. And instead of a friend, become not an enemy, right? As long as you're not enemies, as long as you still have a good name, as long as you're still able to communicate with brothers, man, as long as you're still able to talk to brothers, you should be able to cross different networks, especially brothers in congregations, man. You should be able to cross different networks. We got camps, all. So let's say I'm a brother in WFI and I'm in Detroit, man. I should be able to go to a city in Atlanta and still have a good name and be able to talk to those brothers, right? If I'm in Atlanta, I should be able to go to Baltimore. If I'm in Philly, I should be able to go to Cleveland. And my name should go before me. My reputation should go before me, right? So you want to get yourself the love of the congregation. You want to salute brothers. When you want to meet brothers, man. You want to open up and talk to brothers. You want to build bonds and relationship with brothers. You want to be a dependable brother, right? So all of this goes into getting yourself the love of the congregation, right? And it said, bow yourself to a great man, right? Meaning have humility and understand order, right? This is Ecclesiasticus chapter 41 and verse number 12, right? Like I said, this is not going to be too long. Sirach 41 and 12. Have regard to thy name, for that shall continue with thee above 1,000 great treasures of gold. So care about your name, man. All right? Your name matters. When your name comes up, what do people think about you? Right? What do people think about you, man? When your name comes to mind, are you the slothful brother of the camp? Are you the brother that people wait so you could tell them and you just bring folly? Are you the debater in the camp? You always debate? Are you the brother that you're proud? Are you the brother that never bring anything to the feast days? Are you the brother whose woman is always out of order on the new moons? Think about your name. Have regard to your name. Your name is all you have, man. Your name is all you have. You want to have an ill, tarnished, filthy name in the world, man, or in the body. And that goes to having great behavior, knowing when to talk, knowing when not to talk, right? Knowing how to move, not to move. That comes through experience. All these things through experience. You want to have regard to your name. Again, don't have that worldly mentality where it doesn't matter what anybody think about me, right? It doesn't matter what anybody, I'm going to still do me. Brother, it does matter to a degree. If everybody's telling you that you drink too much on the new moons and you're known as the drunkard, you might want to think about that. You want to have regard statements. Those statements should matter to you. If you come into a room and they turn the music off and everybody scatters 7 ways to God knows where because you might want to think about that. Don't be clueless, man. Don't be naive. People think stuff about you, man. I'm going to just tell you how it is. People have perceptions about you, and everybody don't share the same perception. But majority of the people, they tend to look at you a particular kind of way, man. So people are looking at you, man. People are seeing how you move. They're seeing your pattern of behavior, what you say out your mouth, man. All these things you have to consider in his truth. Don't be the village drunkard and the village idiot in Israel. Have regard to your name. Especially you brothers that got families, man. Right? You don't want to be the house in the bar. And the bar, he was known as the fool. Right? You don't want to be the house of Saul. Think about your character. Think about your reputation, man. Move in a level of wisdom and in a level of Salakia. And move in a level of integrity. Right? So have regard to your name, the Most High said, for that shall continue with thee above 1,000 great treasures of gold. Because gold don't last forever. Gold is transferred from one man to the next. As soon as somebody dies, that gold goes to the next man. But your name don't go to the next man. Your name falls on your children, and your name falls on you. Right? So have regard to your name. Right? Let's go to Sincerity. Right? Let's go to Ecclesiastes chapter 10. So you brothers, man, you got introverts in Israel. Right? That's actually, I'm gonna just put, now you got brothers that may be quiet. You got quiet brothers. You got brothers that are a little more, mild-mannered, and some brothers, they don't talk a lot. That's fine. But if you're just an outright isolated introvert, you don't speak, you don't say nothing, you wear dark shades in an all-black garment, you never open your mouth, well, brother, how can you get the love of the congregation? In order to get the love of the congregation, you got to open your mouth. People have to know you. You got to speak. You have to speak in season. You got to say the right thing. You got to be a friendly brother, a humble brother. Right? So let's go to Sirach. I believe I had a few precepts. Let's go to Sirach 10 and 20. Right? Ecclesiastes chapter 10 and verse number 20. Among brethren, he that is chief is honorable. So are they that fear the Lord in his eyes. So the Lord said, among brethren, he that is chief is honorable. So you got brothers that are chief, man. Did those brothers wake up and they became chief? In the ancient world, you had men of renown. You had famous men. Did those men just snap their fingers? No, man. Like the brother said, you can't be a creep in Israel. Don't be the creep at the feast day, man. Stirring up brothers' drinks with your finger, giggling and walking away. Serious moments, you don't know how to be serious. Moments of brothers joking and laughing, and you too damn serious. You too aggressive when it's time to be sensitive. You too sensitive when it's time for war. You don't know how to read the room. You have some brothers, they don't know how to read the room, man. Here it is, brothers are very solemn. They're weighing the matter up. It's a heavy counsel. Somebody committed adultery. They're all talking about the wickedness, and you walk in the room and with a deck of cards, shuffling the damn cards, man. Who on the table? Who want to play spades? Then you take out another damn game. Like a cartoon character, just pulling out damn video games and board games. Anybody want to play Monopoly? Brother, we're talking about this brother who committed adultery. Right? We're talking about a sin unto death. You got to know how to read the room, man. Some brothers, they don't know how to read the room. Some brothers are just full of folly. Some brothers are just naturally just immature. You can't get the love of the congregation being immature, being childish. So the Lord said, I'm going to read that one more time. Sirach 10 and 20. Among brethren, he that is chief is honorable. So there's a build up to that, man. Right? There's a build up to becoming chief. David had to build his reputation. Right? And it says that he behaved himself wisely in the eyes of all of Saul's servants and in the eyes of all the people. Right? So these are the things that you have to do, man. If you want to get yourself the love of the congregation, first you have to examine where your name currently is. And you can't force it either. Let me put that out there. You can't force the love of the congregation. You can't force respect. You can't demand respect. It don't work like that. They tell you that even in this man's world, you got to earn that, man. They say respect isn't given, it's earned. You got to earn respect. You got to build relationships. You have to earn trust. You have to earn for brothers to open up to you. You have to earn these things. You know, you have to learn how to give and take. And you want to strive, the Lord said, among brethren, he that is chief is honorable. Right? So it doesn't mean that that's what you want out of insincerity, but the topic of this lesson is have regard to your name, huh? Right? Or rather, get you the love of the congregation. Right? Get you the love of the congregation. Let's go to 1 Timothy chapter 3. Right? Let's go to 1 Timothy chapter 3 and verse number 15. Again, you can't force it. You can't force a relationship. You can't walk in a room and you know, just because you're walking a certain way, you know, it doesn't mean that brothers are going to respect you, man. Just because you know knowledge and breakdown doesn't mean, you know, you're going to have the love of the congregation. Just because you're in depth in prophecy or you're tall or whatever doesn't mean anything. It's about your character, how you deal with brothers, your relationship, the bonds that you have, your experiences that you have. All these things come through. They should come naturally. And it should be sincere in you. You know? This is I went to 1 Timothy. Right? Let's go to 1 Timothy chapter 3. Right? You want to be sincere in these things, man. Don't come in this thing, well, the brother said we got to get the love of the congregation. Okay, what can I do? How can I get people to love me? Okay, well, maybe if I get these brothers and I pay these brothers, you know, $30. No, man. You can't bribe brothers. You can't pay brothers to love you. You can't hire vain men. You have men that did that. I can think of a few men who did it out of wickedness, man. Absalom, Abimelech. Those were two wicked men who hired vain and light people to follow them. In Acts the 17th chapter, they took men of the baser sort to cause a riot in the city. Right? So this is 1 Timothy chapter 3 and 15. 1 Timothy 3 and 15. But if I tarry long, that thou mayest know how thou oughtest to behave thyself in the house of the Most High, which is the church of the living God, the pillar and ground of the truth. So you have to know how to behave yourself in the church of the Most High, man. You have to know how to have great behavior. And some brothers, they have knowledge. They have understanding. They know the breakdowns. They can go into the 7 heads. They can go into the 10 horns. They understand these things. But these same brothers, they don't know how to behave themselves because their knowledge makes them proud. And some brothers have you have this idea of what you think an Israelite should be. So you try to become somebody else. And people can see that, man. People can see when you're not really being yourself. When you're trying to be like another brother. Or you fabricated this idea of what you think an Israelite should be. You're playing pretend, man. You're pretending you're austere, brother. You're not austere. You're pretending you're Nehemiah. You're not Nehemiah. You know, you have to be who the Most High made you to be, man. You know? Be who Yahweh Bashmi made you to be. And work on the weaknesses that you may have. And it's going to flow naturally. I can't pretend to be Amos, man. I can't be Gabar Kasadia. I'm not Ariah. I'm not Yarada. I'm not those brothers, man. Those brothers not me. All those brothers have their own individual characteristics, emotions, strengths, weaknesses, spirits, just like myself, man. You know? So you want to know how to behave yourself. And it's going to flow naturally. Right? And that's called conduct. That's called having personal conduct. Can the brother, if a brother got time, can the brother pull the definition of conduct? Right? I want to see what that says. If a brother can you pull up the definition of conduct and etiquette? Right? Conduct and etiquette. Right? Let's pull that up, Baba Kasha. If a brother can. Conduct, that's one definition. And we'll also, if a brother can, if not, that's fine. We'll maybe put it on the comment board and we'll move on, right? Conduct and etiquette. So the Apostle Paul told Timothy, you have to know how to behave yourself. Remember, Timothy was a young man, you know? So there are things inside of young men. Immaturity is inside of us, man. We all have immaturity. Every brother has folly. Every brother has that side of them. But you have to know how to have reserve. You want to know how to have a level of reserve, right? And the folly that we all have natural folly. Brothers can be goofy. Brothers are humorous. Brothers joke. But it's a time and place for everything. You want to know how to control that folly, right? And everybody don't have to see your folly, man. It may try to come out, but you have to have a spirit of reserve, right? So let's let me get the water for the definitions, Akim, right? So let me see this. The water for that, Judamaya, the manner in which a person behaves, especially on a particular occasion or in a particular context. That's right, man. So your conduct is how you behave, and behavior is rooted in many things. Your behavior is your actions, your speech, your relationships, how you have relationships. Some brothers, you don't know how to have a relationship with a brother. You don't know how to talk. You don't know how to be empathetic. You know, some brothers, you like to control the damn conversation. How are you going to get the love of the congregation when you don't even know how to listen to the congregation? You can't even listen to a brother. Brother tell you he got fired from his job, and you don't have any spirit of sympathy or empathy, but you make the conversation about you. Well, I got fired from my job, and let me tell you what really happened to me. Because goddamn, well, brother, hold on, brother. Listen to that brother. Talk to that brother, man. Hear what he has to say. It's perfectly fine to be in silence for 5 minutes and let that brother rant, man. And just, right? Yeah. Right? And be sincere about it, man. Right? So, you know, there's different behaviors that you have to maintain, and it has to be sincere. You can't force it, right? Because the Most High is going to expose you. Let's get another one. The water for that, dropping gems. For etiquette, the customary code of polite behavior in society or among members of a particular profession or group, right? So you have to have etiquette. There are rules on how to speak, and that's every society, man. Every society has customs. There's a level of manners you have to have, right? There's certain etiquette that you have. You know, don't be at the feast day and you the brother you known for taking all the damn food, man. You're gonna get yourself a bad name. You gotta think about what you do before you do it, man. If I do this, how is this going to be perceived? Because you may have good intentions, but perception is everything at times, man. You might have took 15 cookies on your plate because you was naturally hungry, but how does that look, brother? Yeah, you're hungry, but now you left 5 cookies and it's 30 more brothers that got to eat. You got to think about these things, man. Now you know that's the damn cookie monster. Now they call you Cookie Monster. Here come the Cookie Monster. Now you got your head down, man. They give you a Cookie Monster, a blue shirt with fringes on it for Purim. Brothers kind of laugh. And it's hard to kind of get that name back, man. You can't go without cookies for 3 years, man, for that name to go away. Right? So let's see a little bit more. Conduct. Okay, we read that. Okay, from Brother Yamir Thawada for that. To direct or take part in the operation or management of conduct, right? Experiment, a business conduct investigation, right? So pretty much, you just want to have the spirit to know how to maintain yourself, man. Maintain discipline and maintain your integrity, right? You want to maintain your integrity. Now, the Apostle Paul told Timothy, you have to know how to behave yourself in the church of God. Have behavior at camp. You brothers that go to camp, have good behavior, man. Don't be the brother that's always asking when it's time to leave. Don't be the brother that's full of folly at camp. You know? Be the brother that has some wisdom, man. You know, be the brother that has some type of decorum. Somebody pull that up, decorum. Baba Kasha. See, these are words that our people don't think applies to them. You think this applies to privileged Edomites who have handmaids and butlers, that they're the only ones that can have etiquette, that they're the only ones that can have decorum, that they're the only ones that can have great behavior. That comes from us, man. We the people of the Most High. The Lord is very meticulous about things, man. Right the water for that. Decorum is behavior that people consider to be correct, polite, and respectable. And what's going to guide you these precepts? You want to have decorum, right? You don't want to be, and you can't get yourself the love of the congregation if you don't take care of yourself, man. You got brothers, you just got bad hygiene, man. You stink. You the brother that's known for having body odor, man. B.O. Your breath always stink, man. Your clothes are always dirty. You don't brush your hair or pick your hair out or comb your beard, man. You know? You always got stains on your shirt. Brother, take care of yourself, man. Put some deodorant on, man. Put some oil on your face, man. Get it. Hey, man, take care of yourself, man. Take care of your body. Take care of your health, man. Get yourself, you want to be a man of valor. I know brothers like that, man. Unfortunately, some brothers, man, you just don't even take care of your damn hygiene. And you got a bad name. They got to light 15 incense when you come into the school. That's horrible, man. And some of you brothers, you're too old for that, man. You know how to wash yourself, man. You're too old for that, man. Get some oil. Put some oil on, brother. Get some frankincense and myrrh. Take care of yourself, man. Brush your damn teeth, man. Talking to brother, you got stuff all in your teeth, man. Your breath stink. You musty. But you know all of the breakdowns. You go into all these breakdowns. But nobody want to be around you, brother, because your hygiene all messed up. You know? Let's move on. Let's go to the book of First Maccabees, chapter 5. Right? Let's go to First Maccabees 5. This First Maccabees, chapter 5. Some of you brothers, man, you gotta learn how to grow up, man. Grow up. I'm being real. Grow up, man. Same drawers on, man. Same shirt you had on 3 days. You always asking for money. Some of you brothers can't get the love of the congregation because you owe the congregation all the money, man. How you gonna get the love of the congregation when everybody pocket watching you? Because you asked, I need $20. Well, brother, I need 15. Oh, brother, I need 5. You ain't gonna get the love of the congregation, man. Because you owe everybody something. Or the congregation don't want to be around you, man. You gotta think about this stuff, man. Don't be the brother always asking and begging for money. You're gonna get yourself a bad name. Right? It's hard to get that name away from you once your name stink. Right? But let me read this. This First Maccabees, chapter 5, and verse number 62. Right? First Maccabees, chapter 5 and 62. Moreover, these men came not of the seed of those by whose hand deliverance was given unto Israel. So the Lord was dealing with Judas, Maccabees, he was dealing with Jonathan, he was dealing with Simon. The Most High was dealing with them, right? On a level where if you wasn't up that seed line, you weren't going to be successful in particular enterprises because the Most High was working directly with that lineage and that bloodline. Let's read on. Here's the point in First Maccabees 5 and 63. Howbeit, the man Judas and his brethren were greatly renowned in the sight of all Israel and of all the heathen, wheresoever their name was heard of. That's heavy right there. Judas and his brothers, they were respected wherever they went. Hey, they was respected amongst the heathen. Some of you brothers, you're a joke at the plantation, man. You let people just say anything about you, man. You get pushed all around. You know, you don't stand up for yourself. You're always late. You always getting written up at the job, man. Even these heathen, man. They respected Joseph. Well, I'm in captivity. Oh, well, bro, hold on. They respected Mordecai. He was in captivity. See, they was respected amongst the heathen. Nehemiah was the cupbearer. Zerubbabel was the bodyguard of the king. These men were respected even amongst it, even at their plantations, man. Have regard to your name at the plantation. Stop getting into debates in the break room with your supervisor over who Esau is, man. Stop showing all of the camp videos to all the jakes at your job, man. Stop giving out flyers and putting them on people's cubicles, man. You wonder why you're always in HR. You wonder why when it's time to fire somebody, you always the first one they think about. Have regard to your name, man. And Judas, even amongst all Israel, which is the most important, he was well renowned. He was respected, man. They respected him. So I'm pretty sure if Judas asked for something, they would give it to him. Pretty sure when Judas walked in a room, they looked at Judas, man, a particular way. You want to be a man of renown in Israel. Be a man of renown, man. And men of renown, they have something called discipline. And better yet, they have something called integrity. Every man of renown, that's the elect of our fathers, they all had integrity. They were all humble and they all were sincere. So the relationships that they had with Israel, it was the Most High put the spirit on the people to love them. Because really it's up to the Most High. The Most High got to put the spirit on people to respect you and love you. But that comes with your sincerity and how much you really love the Most High. And how much you pursuing your how much you love righteousness, man. How much you love integrity. How much you love honor and humility. The Most High is going to naturally build those relationships and those bonds with you and put the spirit on people to love you and to respect you because you're doing his will. If you're not doing his will and you try to force it, it's not going to work out. And you're going to be one of these brothers when anybody can look at you, he's just a pretender. You got brothers that they're playing Israel, man. You got brothers that are playing prophet, they're playing apostle, they're playing evangelist. You just playing, man, like this is cosplay. Stop playing apostle, man, and playing prophet and playing evangelist, man. Be a man of renown. And it should be sincere. Let's go to the book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 8. Like I said, I don't want this to be too long. Still going longer than I wanted to, right? But that's okay, right? It's the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashima Mashiach, woman like Ebashah. So this Wisdom of Solomon, Solomon, he was reverenced, man. He was renowned. Don't you know the Queen of Sheba, she damn near fainted, man, when she saw Solomon. He was walking. All he was doing was walking. And you got certain brothers like that. See that brother walking, you're like, damn, that's that brother right there. I love that brother, man. Kind of see him walking from a distance, and that brother got a powerful walk. That's that brother right there, man. Here he come. You got certain brothers that walk, you see them walking, and you start having good thoughts about those brothers. Oh, here he come. I wonder what he gonna say, right? You know, and the brother gonna salute. I'm glad the brother here, and we was missing that brother. It's brothers like that, man. You see that brother walking from a distance, you kind of know his walk, and you kind of just feel good about it, man. And then you got brothers, they're not like that. You see them come and you're like, shit. You know, you're hiding your wallet, man. You know, hiding your kids, hiding your woman, man. Tell your woman put a veil on her face, putting your money up, man. Right? You want to have a spirit. That's a good analogy. Walking like a lion in the Serengeti, man. That's the spirit you want to have. And some of you brothers, man, you don't even walk like a king, man. You walking and you're hunching around and you look. Hey, man, be a king, man. You know, hold your head up, hold your chest up, man. Be a man of renown. The Lord said, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Eat and drink saith he to thee, but his heart is not with thee, man. Stop walking around with your head between your knees. You know, put some oil on your face, comb your beard out, hold your chest up, walk, get a staff. If you have to, you know, you don't have to get a staff, but hey, man, walk like a king, man. You know? Brother said that Debo spirit. Yeah, you don't want to be a Debo, man. Don't force it and try to be a Debo. Like them cartoon characters with their damn chest out. You can't force that, man. You're going to be a joke. And brothers are going to laugh at you. Right? Brothers are going to laugh at you. This Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 8 and 9. Right? This is what Solomon said. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 8 and 9. Therefore, I propose to take her to me to live with me, knowing that she would be a counselor of good things and a comfort in cares and grief. This Solomon speaking about wisdom. Verse number 10. For her sake, I shall have estimation among the multitude and honor with the elders, though I be young. And you got young men, they're respected even around older men. It's certain brothers like that, man. It could be older men and elder men or more seasoned men in the truth, and a young man could come in, but he's so mature that it's like he fit right in. He could read the room. He know when to speak, when not to speak. He'll drop a gem, then he'll kind of be quiet for a minute. Then he'll add to a point, then he'll kind of be reserved. Then he might leave, man. Some brothers, you too pushy, man. Some brothers are too pushy. You might see elder men, elders in Israel, you too pressed, man. Tell you, press not forward lest you get pushed back. And don't be too far back lest you be forgotten. Have some self-respect too, man. Don't be you have brothers that groupies, man. I'm gonna just say how it is. Have some self-respect, some dignity, man. You might be around there's elder men in Israel. You might be around those men. It's okay to get up and walk away for a minute, man. Hopefully those elders invite you back. Hopefully they miss your company. Hopefully they think, hey, who was that brother, man? Hey, when David killed Goliath, Saul said, whose stripling is this, man? Hey, who is that guy, man? Who's this young guy, man? That's how you want people to look at you, elder men to look at you, seasoned men. Who is that brother, man? That's a good brother right there. But if you always on brothers' coattails, or you can't leave brothers alone, and you're always calling brothers every second, man, your name gonna stink. You're gonna be known as the sensitive brother, man. Right? So even Solomon said, I'm gonna read that again. Wisdom of Solomon 8 and 10. For her sake, I shall have estimation among the multitude and honor with the elders, though I be young. So even though you're young, through experience, discernment, maturity, and wisdom, you can still have honor with the elders, right? Verse number, certain brothers get around elder men and you get dismissed, man. Man, get out of here, man. What the hell is he talking about, man? You're speaking out of season. You're out of order. Hey, the Lord said, if you're among great men, make not yourself equal with them. I'm not about to get around elder men who've been in the truth 25, 35, 40 years, and they telling stories about what they did back in the early 90s, and now it's my turn. Well, when I was no, man, I don't got nothing to say. I better not say a damn thing, man. I better just be quiet and listen. And if I get asked to say something, hey, the Lord said, let your speech be short, comprehending much in a few words. Hey, get straight to the point, man. Stop rambling, man. For the elders dismiss you, man. For other men dismiss you. Brother asks you, hey, get straight to the point, man. Maybe couple it with a precept. Maybe filter through the scripture and kind of keep it moving. Right? This verse number 11. Wisdom of Solomon chapter 8 and 11. I shall be found of a quick conceit and judgment, and shall be admired in the sight of great men. That's what wisdom can do for you. You can be admired in the sight of great men. When I hold my tongue, they shall bide my leisure. And when I speak, they shall give good ear unto me. If I talk much, they shall lay their hands upon their mouth. Right? So you want to be the brother that people are waiting on your input. Your input should be valued. And when you speak, brothers should be attentive. If anytime you speak and brothers dismiss you, or they talk over you, or they don't pay attention to what you have to say, then it's a problem. You might want to kind of examine yourself. But if you speak and brothers are attentive, they hear what you have to say, their ears are open. They put some brothers, man, when you start talking, hey, they'll put their phone down, man. Hold on, Slacky. Hold on. Let me hear what the brother. What you got to say? Hold on. Say that again. You want to be that brother when you speak. But hold on. Hold on. I'll call you back. Right? Hold on. Let me call you back. Hold on. Someone's brother Judah walked in the room. Right, brother Judah. Hold on. Let me call you back. You want to be that brother. When brother say, hold on. Let me call you back. You know, that's what that means. If I hold my tongue, man. So when you walk in and you speak, you know, you got certain brothers, they could demand the room. That's an actual saying. It may not be a definition. You got brothers that can demand. I believe that's the saying. You demand the room. Somebody could correct me if I'm wrong, right? I believe that's what it is. You walk in the room and you it's not control, but I believe it's you demand the room. Brother could put it in there, right? If you know what I'm talking about. But certain brothers are like that, man. Right? Command the room. That's what it is. Command the room. You can command the room. What does it mean? Can somebody pull that definition up? Demand attention or command the room. If you know what I'm talking about, a brother could pull that up. We're gonna get the next precept, right? If a brother can, Baba Kasha, pull up command the room or demand attention. I'm gonna go to Job chapter 29. Right? Let's go to Job. I'm gonna have to cut a few precepts short, Baba Kasha. If a brother could pull that, then that goes into what we're going into for the lesson. Right? But this is Job chapter 29, and I'm going to read verse number 17. Right? Job 29. Actually, I want I put 7. Right? Job 29 and verse 7. It reads, when I went out to the gate through the city, when I prepared my seat in the street. Now, hold on. Let me read this definition. The water for that, Judah, and Yahya, the water. Right? And all the brothers that put a definition. All right, to command the room means to have a strong presence and influence over people and the atmosphere within a space, often through body language, voice, and overall demeanor. And that's a heavy one right there, man. All right, let's read that again. Right? It says to command the room means to have a strong presence and influence that draws the attention and respect of others. It's about having an impact on the people around you, making them want to listen to what you have to say and potentially follow your lead. Hey, David was like that, man. Solomon was like that. Abraham was like that. Joseph was like that. Mordecai was like that. Nehemiah was like that. You don't think when Nehemiah walked up and in front of Israel, you don't think everybody shut down what they had to say, man? You don't think when David stepped into the room, all of his men and all of Israel, they was quiet, man? It tell you when after they killed Absalom and David was weeping, after Joab rebuked him, when David went out and sat in the gate of the city, all of Israel came out to pretty much make obeisance to the king. And when David was weeping, it says the people went in stealth in the city. That's the command that David had. When David was weeping, people was like, oh, I mean, do we go out? I mean, okay, let's kind of fall back. Let's not. They didn't say, well, that's just David weeping. We're going to turn up anyway. We're going to do what we want to do. His whole spirit influenced the nation and their behaviors, man. Let me see if I can get that real quick. Right? That's a beautiful account of commanding the room. Right? Chiefly a nation, man. Right? Chiefly a nation. Now, this is 2 Samuel chapter 19. I'm gonna get straight to the point. 2 Samuel chapter 19 and verse number 3. I'm gonna start at 2. 2 Samuel 19 and 2. And the victory that day was turned into mourning unto all the people. For the people heard say that day how the king was grieved for his son. And the people gat them by stealth that day into the city, as people being ashamed still away when they flee from battle. That's heavy right there, man. Right? Like the brother said, they shut it down. David was weeping, they shut it down. And they got ashamed, man. They were like, wow, they didn't go through what David went through, but the spirit, it was a what they call it now aura or whatever, however you pronounce it. There was a spirit in the city where you just kind of knew that something wasn't right, that David was upset. So everybody had their head down, man. Right? Everybody had their head down. Now, I'm gonna jump down. I want to get to where he came out. I want to get to the point where he actually came out. This is bear with me. 2 Samuel chapter 19 and 8. 2 Samuel 19 and 8. So this after David rebuked him. Joab rebuked him. Then the king arose and sat in the gate, and they told unto all the people, saying, Behold, the king doth sit in the gate. And all the people came before the king, for Israel had fled. Right? They fled, man. Like they ran from a battle. It says for all Israel had fled every man to his tent. So all hell broke loose, man. And when David came back out, all of the people came back out. When David wept, everybody wept, man. When David stood up, everybody kind of stood up. David had that kind of, there's another word, machismo, or I can't pronounce it, but there's another word, man. And he demanded attention from the room. Let's go back to Job. I want to finish this in Job. Like I said, I'm going beyond my time, right? But this is Job 29 and verse number 7. Job 29 and 7. When I went out to the gate through the city, when I prepared my seat in the street. So Job was sitting in the gate of the city, right? Meaning he was a top man, right? Can the brother pull that definition up too? Machismo, right? Let's read on Job 29 and 8. Baba Kasha. The young men saw me and hid themselves, and the aged arose and stood up. That's a hell of a spirit to have. Now the Lord said, rise up before the hoary head. Job said when he rose up, the hoary head stood up. That's a spirit. You go in a room, even the elder men know you, they salute you. That's a beautiful spirit. Verse number 9. The princes refrained talking and laid their hand on their mouth. The nobles held their peace, and their tongue cleaved to the roof of their mouth. When the ear heard me, then it blessed me. When the eye saw me, it gave witness to me. So everybody was on Job's side, man. Whatever Job said, hey, people vouch for it. Right? They vouch, yeah, that's Job. He right. You got brothers like that, man. Some people are naturally inclined to just say it's not always right, but it's just that brother spirit. Yeah, he right. That's just Job. Yeah, that's Job. Some people are like that, man. Some people, unfortunately, they're like that, but that was just Job's spirit. Right? So machismo, the water for that, is characterized by an overemphasis on traditionally masculine traits like strength, dominance, and virility. And that's what David had. He had strength, it was natural, dominance, and virility. Right? That's a beautiful spirit to have, man. Right? Very masculine, he controlled the room, demand attention. So let's read on. The water for that. Job 29 and verse number 11 again. When the ear heard me, then it blessed me. And when the eye saw me, it gave witness to me. Why? Because I delivered the poor that cried, and the fatherless, and him that had none to help him. So that's why Job had respect, man. Now, this is a parable really about the elect, right? Or Israel in their former days, glory days. But really, receiving the love of the congregation, it comes through how you treat the congregation, right? It comes with how you treat the congregation. So Job delivered the poor. He saw out things that needed to be fixed. He helped brothers that needed it. And those brothers saw Job, and they had a right to respect Job, man. right? Because of how Job treated them. It was natural. It was sincere for Job to deliver the poor, to help the widow, to bring out justice, right? To check on brothers. It's natural for him to do that. So those emotional relationships, they're not forced. It's a natural bond between those two brothers. And when you have that bond between multiple brothers or between multiple people, then by default, you have the love of the congregation, because the congregation is built off of individuals. And if you have great relationships with those individuals in a massive state, then you have a great love of the congregation, right? That's how that works. And it comes on how you treat those individuals, right? And the Lord tell you in Matthew chapter 7 and 12 how you're supposed to treat those individuals. That's how this works. So Job received that on how he dealt with his people. Job chapter 29 and 13. The blessing of him that was ready to perish came upon me, and I caused the widow's heart to sing for joy. Man, that's a beautiful spirit he had, right? He helped out people that was depressed, man, people that didn't have anything, so therefore they respected Job based on how he dealt with the people. Let's get maybe one more, right? I said this one gonna be more than 45 minutes, right? But this Ecclesiastes chapter 10, we'll maybe get two more. And Ecclesiastes chapter 10 and verse number 1, right? Ecclesiastes 10 and 1. Dead flies cause the ointment of the apothecary to send forth a stinking savor. So doth a little folly him that is in reputation for wisdom and honor. So all it takes is for you to do a little folly for your name to stink. One thing out of season, one drink too much, right? You cut off a brother in the midst of his talk. Now that brother marked you, man. Now you known for the brother that cut off brothers, man. Right? You're always late. You've been late 5 camps in a row. Right? You wanna understand, like I was saying earlier, all brothers have folly. All brothers have a level of humor to them, joking, and maybe traces of immaturity and those spirits you may have in you. You have to fight those spirits. You have to fight that. And everybody, see, if you're around, I'll say this too. If you're around, your kids, there's a certain spirit you could joke with them or whatever. If you're around your woman, it's a certain spirit you should have with your woman. When you're around brothers, you should be in a certain spirit. And it should be sincere. Right? You can't be full of folly. Like with my children, man, I play with them, I, chase them around, they get on my back, do all that stuff, whatever. Right? I'm not in that spirit when I'm at camp, man. I'm not in that spirit. I'm not in that spirit around brothers, man. It's a different spirit. That folly that I had with them, the brothers, you're not getting that folly, man. It's not that it's not there, but you have to have reserve. Some brother, you don't have any reserve, man. You're too emotional. You bring your follies everywhere. You're too into joking, madness, and wickedness, man, and confusion. Have a level of reserve. Control yourself. And some brothers, you gotta learn how to do that, man. You gotta learn how not to speak. You gotta fight those spirits. That babbling demon, you have to fight that, man. That always want to joke demon, you have to fight that. And have some reserve. Right? Have some reserve. Let's go to Genesis 34. Right? This is the book of Genesis, chapter 34 and verse number 30. Right? Job 34, Genesis. So what I want, Genesis chapter 34 and 30. This after Simeon and Levi and the sons of Israel slaughtered the Canaanites. Right? It reads, Genesis chapter 34 and 30. And Jacob said to Simeon and Levi, ye have troubled me to make me stink among the inhabitants of the land, among the Canaanites and the Perizzites, and I, being few in number, they shall gather themselves together against me and slay me, and I shall be destroyed, I and my house. So Jacob was concerned about his name. He said, don't make me stink, man. Your name can stink. And you can't do no Febreze. You can't light an incense for your name. You could do that if you got trash in the house, or the house stink, you got some clothes, whatever, you light some incense, you could do that. And it'll get rid of that aroma. You can't light no incense when your name stink, man. Jacob knew that. And he wanted to have a good name like his grandfather Abraham. Because remember, Abraham had a confederate with the Hittites. He had a good relationship with them for security and protection, and for trade, right? And for commerce, and for wisdom's sake. Jacob the same way. He had a reputation as a son of God, as a mighty prince. And now his sons brought that folly, and he said, my name is going to stink. You don't want your name to stink, man. All it takes is one action, one word. You got bad habits that you have to break, man. It ain't no old habit. What they say, old habits die hard. That's of the world, man. These things can be easily removed through prayer, counsel, fasting, reading, self-examination. Get rid of these spirits, man. Get rid of these spirits. You do not want your name to stink. Right? Let's see if I had maybe one, maybe two more. I had a few more, right? But you don't want your name to stink through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shema Mashiach Yahushai, man. Right? Let's go to 2 Samuel. I'll get this. Let's go to 2 Samuel chapter 3. Right? Once your name stink, it's hard to get your name back. Right? 2 Samuel chapter 3 and verse number 36. And all the people took notice of it, and it pleased them, as whatsoever the king did pleased all the people. That's what the Lord said about David. Right? It says, and all the people took notice of it. So whatever David did, they took notice of it. If David ate a certain way, they looked at that and they start eating a certain way. If David start wearing his crown, his mitre a certain way, the princes, they put their crown on the same way. That's what you call influence. They took notice. If David started walking this way, you don't think people started walking that way, man? David might have had certain slang, man, that he said. You don't think his men picked up on that slang? David might have had his woman in order like that. You don't think those men went to their wives and said certain things, man, that they saw about David and his household? So whatever David did, the people took notice of it. You want to have that good spirit about you, man. Whatever you do, it's worth taking note of for righteousness. And you got brothers, whatever you do, brothers take note of, but it's for wickedness. My brothers got to mark you, man. Because you done committed folly. You was brought into another council. You're never on time. You're always out of order. And there's always confusion going on with you. You never follow through. You're not dependable. So whatever David did, the people took notice of it for righteousness' sake. And it reads, and it pleased them, as whatsoever the king did please all the people. You know how hard that is to do, man? People say that you can't please everybody. And what David did, whatever David did pleased all the people. What kind of spirit was he in, man? When everybody was pleased. That's it. David had discernment. In order to please all the people, you have to have a high level of discernment. You have to know the needs of the people. You have to know how much, for lack of better terms, like anybody that's a manager or, your position of leadership, is only so much into consideration you have to take your subordinates. So their words matter, but you can't take your subordinates' words to heart all the time, right? Because that'll overthrow your judgment. So David had to have that level of discernment. What the people need, some people are just complainers, right? Some people, they need this. Some people need that. You have to have that discernment, man. For him to be able to perceive all of that, all these men's spirits and men that just complain, men that just want to run their mouth, people that really need this, the king needs this, the people need this. Whatever he did please all the people, that's a heavy spirit to have, man. That's the true definition of getting yourself the love of the congregation. That's the level that we all need to obtain to. But with that, we're going to close up, giving, of course, our honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahashima Mashiach, Wamalak Yabushai. Most High willing you are edified. Kwam Yashalom. Shalom.